Now, whenever I talk to people about their misbehavior in nature, they suddenly say that they are animals. When I said I'm talking about the rights of animals, they suddenly say that they are superior beings and have the orders of God that they can exploit animals as much as they want. This is a contradiction. It is true that a human being is superior to animals, but that means that the human being has to be kind to animals. This is very important. You're not superior to animals if you're cruel to them and if you exploit them. Now, I want to talk about theft. Now, this is another case in which they say that they are just animals, because that's animal behavior, theft. If you say to someone that this is ridiculous, you know, people are just ripping each other off and stealing and all that, and they'll say that, well, look at the animals, what do they do? Well, you're not supposed to look at those who are inferior to you to justify your behavior. You're supposed to be looking up. You're supposed to really look up to the gods and see what the gods do and try and be as good as them. Now, theft is not normal behavior. Theft totally destroys a society. It is comprehensible, yes, in this society here, which is totally evil, that someone who is absolutely poor when he's living on the street steals a piece of bread. Yes, it is comprehensible, and it is not comprehensible that he is punished for it. But in some countries they are punished severely. They have their hands cut off, and this is hideous. Whereas the rich people get away with enormous amounts of theft. All this is hideous again. I mean, I'm talking in a day when I am extremely disturbed by the repugnance of everything on this globe. I mean, the only beautiful thing is the environment of the animals and the flora. The human society, which I insist on belonging to, having a human form, I insist on belonging to the human society, because I can't belong to the bear society or the whale society, because I'm neither a bear or a whale. I cannot belong to the fly society because I'm not a fly. I cannot actually belong to the cockroach society because I'm not a cockroach. Otherwise I would belong to their societies. It's much preferable to belonging to your society. But having a human form, I have to belong to your society. Now, of course I'm different from you people. Very different. And I think that theft is abominable. And this whole society is based on theft. I mean, the Spanish went to South America and stole enormous amounts of gold. Then the English sank their ships and stole the gold again. And this was all sort of in the game. It's a society based on theft. It's been based on theft for thousands of years. Empires meant massacring millions of people and stealing everything from other people. There was massive slaughter and rape and everything going on. It was atrocious. What happened when Christopher Columbus landed in South America was not funny at all. It was the most atrocious massacre, and I cannot understand why he is declared to be a hero, because he is responsible for one of the most hideous massacres ever. And a lot of personalities in history are declared to be heroes. I mean, in Italian schools, Julius Caesar is a big hero. But look what he did. He did the most atrocious things imaginable. He had hundreds of thousands of people crucified. He had a million slaves. He dominated entire countries and had them enslaved. I mean, how can he possibly be a hero? He was a monster. So this whole thing disturbs me intensely. And there are days when I see everything with a sense of humour, but today I'm not seeing everything with a sense of humour. I'm seeing everything seriously as it is, without any humour at all. And I am, let's say I am disgusted. I cannot tolerate it at all. And theft, on whatever scale, except for the case of the poor man or poor woman who doesn't have anything to eat and steals a bit of bread, except for those exceptional cases, theft is an enormous crime indeed. And it's a crime wherever it takes place, whether it takes place on rebel planets like this one, or whether it takes place on the regular legal planets where people have followed the gods. Of course there it's very highly punished. On catatonic planets, of course they are very civilized, so you have 72 hours to own up to a theft. And catatonic people cannot lie with their faces, so they will have a look on their face that will betray them immediately to everyone, and the police will not even stop them in the street. They will just pass by them and say, "Thief, go and pay for what you have stolen." And no one will let them in any bar or restaurant. Their wives will not let them in their houses. So they have to sleep on the street, and they very soon go and own up and arrange to pay in installments for what they have stolen. Now, of course, if they do not open up within 72 hours, then the other side of the coin comes into action, and they are burnt at the stake. Because in the most civilized society, where they have spaceships, and they even have space-time corridors, where they can drive to in a car, from one world to another world that is situated in a different time area. zillions of gargantuan light years away. They can drive in 100 yards and arrive a zillion gargantuan light years away in a different time. Well, in these societies that are advanced in that manner and have 6,000 foot tall buildings and have everything is immaculate and everything is clean and everything is orderly, well, the penalty of being burnt at the stake still exists and will never cease to exist, because simply committing theft is an act against the human form. So the human form has to be destroyed, and it is destroyed by burning at the stake. And so there are severe penalties, and the prisons, if a judge should manage to get them off burning at the stake, they will be condemned to prison. And the prisons are not fun places like here. Here the prisons are like luxury hotels. Nobody is afraid of going to prison. But in a catatonic society, a prison is a place where you are beaten and tortured for 2 weeks. And it's always 2 weeks, because that's enough. That's enough for anyone to remember for the rest of their life, and they will be terrified of ever going there again. Prison should be like that. It should be a place where you are treated in the most hideous way imaginable. And of course there are special doctors there. These special doctors ensure that you remain alive during those 2 weeks, because it is very difficult to keep you alive for 2 weeks under that treatment. So that's how things must be. Things must be sensible. You can't have luxury hotels for criminals. The criminal world and the ordinary world, which you have here. You have the people inside and the people outside. You have the mafia bosses commanding from inside the prison, where they have all the luxuries available to them that they want. No, you can't have that at all. That's the evil society. You know, on catatonic planets, even occasionally the governors of a planet can be put in prison, and they spend 2 weeks in prison, and they come out, and after they have recovered, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks, they go back into government again. And everyone goes back into government after their spell in prison. Back to work after their spell in prison. Anyone who has a job, which is everyone, because everyone has a job, goes back to work shortly after their spell in prison, and it is only very secretly recorded that they have been in prison. It is not held against them in any way. It is not mentioned in the newspapers at all. The only crime that can be mentioned in the newspapers is murder, because and it is not mentioned on page 1, it's mentioned on page 19 in a small caption. It should not be, the newspapers should not be full of crime and things like that. I was talking to my father, and my father said that, well, that would be a totally boring society if you didn't have any murders and crimes to read about in the newspaper, how boring it would be. Well, that's a very strange attitude. I don't understand my father at all. I would like a society without any murders, without any crimes, without anything like that. I would like a smooth running society, and the catatonic society is a smooth running society, a civilized society. I mean, I suppose similar people to my father would think that it would be a boring society without war. And in fact, you demonstrated with your behaviour that you think it's a boring society without war because you commit wars all the time. And then you say, well, we don't think that we should have wars. Well, why do you have them then? You only have wars because you actually secretly in your interior believe that you should have wars, or want to have wars. You have a desire to have wars. A psychiatrist once said to me, the human being has the instinct to have war. Well, this is totally incorrect. The real human being, the positive human being, does not have any such instinct whatsoever. The real human being is just like the animals. The lions do not attack lions. The gazelles do not attack gazelles. The penguins do not attack penguins. Of course, ants do attack ants, yes, but they play a sort of game warfare, and they're constructed in a different way. Ant soldiers are born ant soldiers. The day I hear of a baby born in a hospital equipped with a machine gun, with a little baby with a machine gun, at the moment of birth, then I will believe that human beings are designed for war. But they are not designed for war, no. They're designed to live in harmony. And you people are completely contradictory to all norms. And because you don't manage to organize yourselves or agree with one another in any way, your only way of limiting your numbers is to have periodic massacres. Now, that is not the way to limit your numbers. There is simply the method of saying, when we arrive at 6 million people on the globe, we will have 2 children per family, and that is all. And there are methods of producing safe contraceptives. There is the safe pill if there are serious people behind it. Of course, on this planet there are no serious scientists working at all. All scientists do is try and make money quickly. You know, somebody once said that the trains could not exceed 60 miles per hour without the people suffering very grave consequences. Well, all he wanted to do, that scientist, was to make some money with his writings quickly. He had no interior dignity to impede him from saying such a load of rubbish, because anyone with dignity wouldn't say such a load of rubbish. They would be too embarrassed at the thought of saying something that would be proved wrong inevitably. And people have said that you cannot exceed the speed of light. Load of rubbish. Of course you can exceed the speed of light. I mean, there is no absolute reason why you cannot. I mean, you can write long mathematical theories like Einstein did, but Einstein was all quackery, according to me, because he probably knew that his theories would never actually be disproved. And on Catholic occupied planets, as we call them, which is planets occupied by rebels, they never actually disprove the theories of those who say you cannot go faster than the speed of light. They never actually disprove this theory because they never actually get to producing such spaceships. But it is obvious that if we are going to communicate with people, other people in nature, living billions of light years away, you're going to have to travel faster than the speed of light. And of course, if you have a theory that says you can't, then you're never going to bother to do it. So everything is very complicated. But to get back to the original theme, theft. Theft really ruins a society. I mean, it means that you have to have your doors locked all the time. And I know all about this because I have lived always in places with other people. And I have to keep my doors locked in every instant because little things disappear immediately otherwise. I mean, I've had many things stolen in my life. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's tremendous offense to someone to steal something from them. It's and whoever they are, there are many people who say, well, if we steal from someone rich, then that's all right. No, that is not all right, because you have to presume that the rich person has done something to deserve to be rich. And of course, in a normal society, the rich people do have extraordinary talents and do take extraordinary responsibilities, and they do deserve everything that they have. So it is nobody would dream of stealing anything from them at all. And of course there would be no difference in the punishment, because stealing anything from anybody is just as bad. I must tell you that I told you once in one video that if anyone ever kills a human child on a catatonic planet, well, that planet is blown up by the Sacred Army with a space bomber. Well, because the society will inevitably collapse and become evil. Well, if they ever found a person living in poverty on a catatonic planet, then the same thing would happen. They would blow the planet up, because with everyone rich and just one person poor traipsing the streets, then that's such a sad and miserable thing, and it means that the people are so mean inside them that everything is going to be totally perverted in a short time, so the whole planet has to be blown up. Well, I'll finish this video for today.